Did you know that Germany had one of the worst inflation rates in modern human history after World War I? It's November 11th, 1918, and after more than 4 years of horrific fighting and the loss of millions of lives, the guns on the Western Front fell silent. Germany's leader, Kaiser Wilhelm, left his job on November 9th, 1918, and 2 days later, Germany was forced to sign the armistice, an agreement for peace, and the guns fell silent. The fighting stopped at 11 a.m. on the 11th day of the 11th month in the year 1918. World War I officially ended, even though it went on for an additional 6 hours elsewhere after the armistice signing. Now is the time to face the after-war effects and consequences. The war started on July 28, 1914, after Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia as a result of the assassination of Austrian-Hungarian Archduke Franz Ferdinand, beginning World War I. Austria-Hungary held Serbia responsible and declared war on July 28th. Russia came to Serbia's defense, and by August 4th, Germany, France and Britain were drawn into the war, with the Ottoman Empire joining later in November of the same year. Germany's strategy in 1914 was clear. First defeat France, then transfer forces to the Russian front. However, this failed, and by the end of 1914, the Western Front consisted of a continuous line of trenches stretching from the English Channel to Switzerland. The sole reason why Germany fought in the war was because the German establishment hoped the war would unite the public behind the monarchy and lessen the threat posed by the dramatic growth of the Social Democratic Party of Germany, which had been the most vocal critic of the Kaiser in the Reichstag before the war. But this failed as well, and by the end of the war, Germany was exhausted and sued for peace in desperate circumstances. Awareness of imminent defeat sparked a revolution, the abdication of Kaiser Wilhelm II, formal surrender to the Allies, and the proclamation of the Weimar Republic on November 9, 1918. The Allies, Britain, France, Russia, Italy, and the USA insisted on punishing Germany, which was part of the Central Powers, along with Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and Bulgaria, after the war had officially ended. The Treaty of Versailles was signed on June 28, 1919, and the terms of the treaty required that Germany pay financial reparations, disarm, lose territory, and give up all of its overseas colonies. There was a war guilt clause in the treaty that blamed Germany as the only one responsible for the outbreak of the war. Because of that clause, Germany lost about 13% of its land to Poland and France. Germany was forbidden to have more than 100,000 soldiers in its army, and they could not carry weapons. The Allies expected Germany to pay for all wartime damage to civilian property in the form of money and goods. The resentment of the German people eventually helped the right-wing parties come to power. By late 1918, the war had pushed the country deep into debt, and there was widespread hardship. People were demanding the end of the monarchy and the war. On November 9th, the German Republic was declared. For a few months, as radicals and liberals struggled for control, it looked like a revolution would occur. The extreme left wing was defeated. War damage compensations eventually pushed the German economy into chaos. There was a shortage of food and other basic goods in Germany, and the prices rose to incredible amounts. Inflation began at the end of the war and became hyperinflation 4 years later, in 1923. In early 1923, the German mark, the official German currency at the time, which was worth approximately $4 before the war, sank to about 50,000 to the dollar. By the end of 1923, the mark had fallen to around 6 billion to the dollar. People were carrying baskets and bags of money around to buy a loaf of bread. The political climate of Germany gradually drifted towards the right during the 1920s. As a result, the Nazi Party came into power in 1933, and eventually the Treaty of Versailles led to World War II because its terms punished Germany harshly. The economy collapsed, the government lost power, the military was weak, and the Germans were angry. Because of these factors, Germans became loyal to Hitler, and there was the perfect storm in Germany that caused World War II. Adolf Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany in 1933, following a series of electoral victories by the Nazi Party. Upon achieving power, Hitler smashed the nation's democratic institutions and transformed Germany into a war state intent on conquering Europe. He ruled absolutely until his death by suicide in April 1945.